and it is Mental Illness Awareness Week. And today we're putting the focus on better understanding the reality of mental illness. Our next guest can help us recognize the difference between a mental health struggle and a serious mental illness, and where we can turn to for help and support. Please welcome Dr. Andrew Harris, Senior Medical Director with the Nova Scotia Mental Health and Addictions Program. Good morning, Dr. Harris. Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So it is Mental Illness Awareness Week. Let's talk about when we can recognize what mental illness is. So all of us have mental health struggles. When do we when does that turn into a concern with a mental illness?
So in general, mental illness is defined by the distress and dysfunction that co-occurs with it. So we can all have symptoms that from time to time of anxiety or low mood, or those things are typically part of our normal functioning. So grief reactions or worries about and stresses about employment or finances. Those are quite normal. That's part of being human. At times, though, some people get them to the extent or the severity where they impact significantly on their ability to function. And that might be in relationships or in employment or just socially being able to work in their communities.
So what are some of the more common types of mental illness that you see?
Well, in my field, because I work I'm a psychiatrist, I would be seeing people with severe mental illness, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, things like this. But there are many people in Nova Scotia who suffer from distressing symptoms or feelings, such as anxiety or low mood day to day. And those would be about 35% of Nova Scotians probably would be in that category, where they're not doing wonderfully well, but they're not really significantly ill or sick.
Would clinical depression fall into that area of what you're doing?
Well, depressive disorders and mood disorders are quite distinct from normal mood regulation and variation. So clinical depression would be a lay term for what we'd call a major depressive disorder or a major depressive episode. That would be something we'd want to see someone for and treat, and we'd be treated by a physician.
Well, you were telling me that you really want to let people know that help and support is available. So if anybody out there thinks that they may be struggling with a mental illness, it's important to see a professional, to reach out for help. So if somebody did reach out for help, first of all, how do they do that? And what's the likelihood that they're going to get some support?
So we have been working very, very hard in the last number of years to improve access into our services. So we have formal services within healthcare, Nova Scotia Health. You can get an appointment to talk to a clinician for an intake. We have a centralized intake service by signing up online or by calling a direct number for our central intake services. And that's for both adult and for child and adolescent in the province. So one number, you'll speak to a clinician, and what we use then is what we call is a treatment matching process. So we try to match you to the best person or provider or service or treatment local to you. We try to do the right provider, the right time, the right place, the right person. But our response times are pretty quick. Within a day or two, you can book an appointment and talk to an intake worker. They are trained clinicians, and get started on that journey.
And what's the wait time if somebody is in crisis?
So for crisis, you can call our 24/7 crisis line. Generally, that's within about 1.5 minutes. You'll be able to get in contact with and speak to. And that crisis line is available not just for individuals, but for family members or loved ones who might want to call in and report a crisis to.
Well, Dr. Harris, this is really important information that you shared with us this morning. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And we have put that information on our website so that you can find that number and that crisis number as well.